So, DC fandom brought Suicide Squad by James Gunn to the table, and it will most likely be able to redeem whatever this shit show was. Just look at Harley's costume, it looks taken straight out of Injustice 2. I love this version of the costume. How much leather it has, the colors, the patterns, everything is just perfect. Since we are also eager to watch a great anti-superhero team-up movie, why don't we talk about another great movie? After watching and reading many positive reviews about the movie but not being able to see it in theaters with the actual situation and all, I was hyped. I was promised a Deadpool-esque movie through Harley's eyes, but the reality was much different. This movie suffers from a lot of things, and I'm here to talk about them, even if some people might not like it, so sit back, buckle up, and try to stay calm during my various snowflake melting points. Take it all with a grain of salt since all of what I'm about to discuss and comment is based solely on my opinion. So, I finally watched Birds of Prey. We are presented to a narration from Harley herself about her early life and how her dad traded her for beer. Remember this because it will be important eventually. How she was raised by abusing nuns, and that all things considered she did pretty darn well for herself in school, earning a PhD. How she had been heartbroken and decided to make her work her life. How she got to work into Arkham Asylum and met the Joker, the man she fell for the most, and oh my god, it hasn't even been a minute and she's already saying behind every successful man,
there's a badass broad.
The movie is going to try hard, isn't it? Maybe not, right? Of course we know the relationship with Joker and Harley is not only toxic but dangerous, mischieving and extremely one-sided, this being Harley loving the Joker but the Joker not loving her back at all, which is one of the things Suicide Squad 2017 did wrong. He saves Harley multiple times, for example, although theories made it look like she could have been pregnant at the time, but I mean, just look at these scenes from Batman the Animated Series, which is where she originated from.
One of the painful truths of comedy. You always take shots from folks who just don't get the joke. And don't call me Puddin'.
My fault. I didn't get the joke.
And then apologizes to her, and she fell straight for him again. This tells us a lot about where Harley stands as a woman on a really toxic relationship, but the movie tries to make Harley Quinn a strong, independent woman that struggles with depression and acts like a child. In the comics, Harley Quinn took years of abuse to say screw you clown and become the anti-hero she is most of these days, all because she had developed this Stockholm syndrome that was really hard to get out of. In Birds of Prey, it takes one scene to break up, and listen, I'm not saying they stole it, but it seems pretty comparable to one scene from a superior movie.
May, my wife and I split up, but I handled it like a champion. Because you know what? No matter how many times I get hit, I always get back up.
We broke up. I handled it real mature, but Mr. J was super broke up about it.
She gets kicked out of the club by a male thug. She gets insinuated on by a gross man who gets hidden by her new hyena pit. I'm not gonna lie, I was hopeful that there were gonna be two hyenas, and that they were going to be their comic counterparts, Bud and Lou. But we later found out this hyena is named Handsome Bruce, after billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne.
Oh my god, it's
I know,
fucking
I know.
Batman, dude.
Is she wearing a onesie while crying and eating spray cheese? What a way to show she's strong, huh? Then she claims to be back on her feet and everything seems to be going alright. She breaks some guy's legs because of being an asshole and gets commended for it by the club owner who asks her to say hi to Joker. Apparently she doesn't want to tell that she got dumped by the Joker since everyone on the city might want her dead. But because they fear the Joker, no one wants to hurt her if she is with them, including Sionis Roman, aka Black Mask. Cool! He's coming into the DCU. Can't wait to see him in a solo Batman movie. That's gonna be awesome. She eavesdrops some of her very irrelevant friends about how she always goes back to him and decides, no, not this time. So she hijacks a community place truck and blows up Ace Chemicals plants. Oh, cool colors. Look guys, fireworks. Pretty colors. Then Harley tells us about how this is her story. The movie kind of already has a trope, but if you haven't catched it yet, we can wait a bit more. You'll pick up on it eventually. So, word gets out that Harley is no longer in a relationship and Sionis really wants her dead. So he sends a bunch of goons. Oh look, I'm Victor Sass! Holy crap, I can't wait to see him in a solo Batman movie either! And the GCPD is able to go after her too from now on. Cops and goons are after her, and we are introduced to both the cop who wants to take her down and Huntress, or the crossbow killer.
The crossbow killer.
They call me.
The crossbow killer.
They call me.
The crossbow killer?
Crossbow killer.
I'm not the crossbow killer!
Who apparently misses a shot, but in fact is trying to kill this guy, who apparently Harley and Joker tattooed. And Harley gets captured. We learn that the detective made a big bust back in the days and her partner got all the credit for it because he is a man and she is, well, a woman. He got the big promotion while she got stuck on detective work. Have you noticed the trope yet? We learn that Huntress is Elena Bertinelli, honestly my favorite character in this movie, whose family was assassinated in front of her. She was left for dead and rescued by a goon who took her to Sicily, where his assassin family trained her up to get the revenge she so desperately wanted. So this kid Cassandra Cain, who in the comics eventually becomes this version of Batgirl and one of the coolest Bat Family characters ever, is a pickpocket and stole the Bertinelli diamond from Victor Sass, then decided to swallow it when she was being arrested. The detective believes she's close to being able to bring down Sionis. Of course, the captain, her ex-partner, doesn't feel like it, and he goes against it over and over because he is an asshole, basically. The trope should be pretty obvious by now. Harley apparently made a deal with Sionis, where she gets the girl and the diamond back to him and she'll be safe. Of course, this is just a lie from Sionis because men are never honest. Harley breaks out Cassandra and deals with a bunch of big bad men. And oh my god, this movie has an issue with broken legs. Harley and Cassandra go back to her apartment and... oh, look at that. It seems like there's finally a man who is not an asshole to them. Cool. They bond over dinner for a couple of minutes. Then her apartment gets blown up because... la-di-da, wouldn't you know it, the only decent man sold her out.
You didn't see that coming?
So I got promised Deathpool Harley Quinn style movie, but the reality is I'm getting Charlie Angel's 2019 vibes, where, surprise surprise, every man they meet, including their boss, is evil and scheming. And the only man that they meet that's actually nice is this ridiculous stereotype of the perfect being that knows how to do everything for them. In this one, there isn't even that. It's every man they meet that's evil or dirty or gross or an asshole or deceitful. And it goes out of its way to show that that's just men. We also meet Black Canary, another race-bended character. Nothing special about her, she knows how to fight and sing. Let me explain to you why race-bending is also an issue. The fact is, they don't race-bend someone like Harley Quinn because of her popularity. Her design might go through changes, but she is essentially untouchable when it comes to race, and that's a fact. It's always interesting to me how they decide to change characters' race because their agenda demands it, and they feel more marketable that way. I'm not bashing on the actress. I think she did a fine job, but I will never understand when there have been black, Latino, and even green characters in Birds of Prey. They chose a white character and race-bend them to their will. The issue with this is, when something becomes popular in a movie, it translates into the comic books and eventually to anything else, from fan art to artwork to TV shows, even games, etc, etc. Take a look at the new Suicide Squad game. Deadshot is now a black male, when he used to be kind of French looking, but since Will Smith played him, they need to sell the idea that his race is black. And it's not impressive anymore. There are so many good characters that aren't white. Just look at Diablo, the only redeemable character in Suicide Squad 2017. Inclusion doesn't have to be on our faces anyway. Just look at Deadpool again, the movie they set themselves to be compared with. Yukio and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Those two are in a relationship. They don't need to hide it, they don't need to address it because it's really not that important. It's a couple of quick scenes that make you go, huh, cool. It's not the focal point of the movie, nor it affects the plot, which is something Netflix should have maybe write down on their next couple of projects. I'm not saying being black and gay is not a struggle. It's just not that interesting, and it shouldn't be treated like an issue either. Brooklyn Nine-Nine presents the perfect example. Captain Holt. He is black and homosexual, and it's not mentioned over and over. Instead, we see that he is happy with his husband, and that's all we need. Black Canary here falls into the archetype that she has struggled her whole life for a couple of pennies when the comic book counterpart was born into a family with no needs, but they were a crime-fighting family, a police officer as her father and the original Black Canary as her mom. The movie barely touches on the heroism of her mother and makes it look like she doesn't want anything to do with the good doers. So they eventually all meet up in the same place and holy shit, Saz gets killed? Damn it! Some of the scenes make Harley a complete oblivious moron. Sure, she talks about some psychological terms and mentions her PhD, but that doesn't make her smart. Look, again, comparing it to the comic books, but Harley is one of the smartest characters in comics. That's what makes her so dangerous. She will say a quirky thing here and there, but she's still super smart. For a feminist movie, this movie tends to get her stupidity charts off the roof, which would be quite wrong. Have they got nothing right so far? The bases are right there. Oh cool, another fight scene. Hope I don't get to see more broken legs. No broken legs. Cool piece too. Looks like a music video. Why is every male character a dickhead? Why are they race-bending characters and why are they making Harley a fucking idiot? None of that is right. Oh my god, look at Black Mask's mask. It's so cool and accurate. They killed him. The first movie where he shows up and Black Mask is dead. Their girls are under the Red Hood live action hope. The movie ends with Harley, Cassandra and handsome Bruce stealing Dinah's car, looking like a bad TikTok pop video. Dinah, Renee and Helena make a kick-ass team-up to start taking down bad guys after Renee quits her job. I'm not saying bad stuff doesn't happen in workplaces to women, such as being overshadowed by their male co-workers, but to present it over and over in a movie where it's clear they're trying to push an agenda makes it repetitive, unsurprising and honestly, a bit insulting and maddening at times. Overall, cinematography is pretty good, music is pretty meh, acting is great, but the plot is lackluster and pretty stupid if you are a male, since it feels like this movie is out to get you. Is it important? Of course it is. I want the DCU to do amazing, and they've taken so many wrong choices with it. This movie wants to be a girl movie, targeted for girls and liberals who feel the male population have caused issues on their life. But the issue is, most of the consumers of these movies are more of the male gender than the female one. I'm not saying they target the wrong audience, although the box office probably says different. I'm saying they are excluding some potential customers. By making it a war on gender where it's male versus female, you are falling into a slippery slope of shit where you divide your audience, where you make it an aggressive tug of war to see who ends up face first covered in that shit. It should be beneficial to everyone who watches it. Sure, you can't appeal to everyone, but it shouldn't throw shade at anyone either. Should any of these matter to you? Well, you can decide whether to ignore everything or not if you wish. The truth is, everyone should be a bit more aware of what art is trying to show you. Movies are art, the seventh type of art, and some consider it their main focal point of art. The subjectiveness of what they want to show us affects young and susceptible minds more than any violent scene ever could. Sure, Racism shouldn't exist, sexism shouldn't exist. We all need to be aware of that and make the changes ourselves. We won't make it disappear, but we will be the cause for a greater tomorrow. A movie that is so sexist that divides and infuriates men shouldn't be able to go through Hollywood just like that because the title and the characters will sell. The importance of a movie shouldn't be underrated, especially one that is targeted to become some type of success. Good movies can change the way people see life, and life should be enjoyable. Why not enjoying it together?